Hey, what's up? Today we're going to dive into the CEO's response regarding Steam and Sony. He also assures that Helldivers 2 will continue to be playable even if the servers are shut down. Additionally, we'll take a look at the recent comments made by the community manager about the next update and the spear, and so much more. If you find the video informative, click the thumbs up icon below the video. First and foremost, I'd like to correct a statement made in yesterday's video. The CEO has indeed recently responded to the situation with Sony and Steam, and I'd like to discuss that before we proceed further. So for those who may not be aware, Steam confirmed that the recent region blocks were implemented by the publisher Sony. The chief executive of Arrowhead referred to this as an administrative error. Here's the actual quote. So to give an update on the 3 further country restrictions, it was an administrative error correction. They should have been a part of the original restrictions, and it was noticed when the restriction was put in place for Tsushima. This was noticed and executed independently by Valve. While it doesn't look positive, it is not an indication of further restrictions. The conversation on region restrictions is still ongoing and independent of this. I have no further information. We Arrowhead still want the game to be available everywhere. Hope you all have a great Saturday, and I'm sorry I don't have a better update. Well, at this time, there's not much more to say about the issues with the blocked regions. The CEO here hasn't provided any further updates since his last post, and currently there's no information whether players will be able to play Helldivers again. We know that it's going to be possible, but it's really up in the air at this point, and it's a matter of when. But there is another post here by Plisted, and this is what he said to another user who was pretty much asking about the risk of a ban when it comes down to these blocked regions. This Discord member asked, okay, looking forward to getting it back on track. I have the game in my library, even though it's not available for purchase here. Am I at any risk of getting banned if I play? The chief executive of Arrowhead replied with, no, this was clear. If you have bought the game, you will be able to play forever. So if you're concerned about a ban, rest assured you're in the clear. You should be able to play the game even if you're in a blocked region. Interestingly, the CEO has stated that you'll essentially be able to play indefinitely. And so, is he wrong? No, he's not wrong because he has plans to ensure the game remains playable even if the servers were to shut down. Of course, this might seem premature since Helldivers 2 is still thriving, despite any controversy or balancing issues. The game is still active, and there's quite a few players still in the game. Anyways, let's take a look at this post here on the official Helldivers 2 Discord, where this member asked, until the servers shut down, or is the pursuit of managed democracy forever? The chief executive of Arrowhead responded with, forever if I get to choose. Even if we were to sunset the game, we would build an automation on the Game Master and other features. We don't want to screw you guys over. Given the information provided, what are your thoughts on the CEO's latest response to Sony and Steam, as well as the news about being able to play Helldivers 2 forever? Let me know down below in the comments section. Next, the community manager has hinted that an update will be arriving soon, which will likely include a fix for the spear. Currently, we have a post created by Twinbeard on the official Helldivers 2 Discord, and he replied to a member who asked, when is the spear targeting getting fixed? At Twinbeard. In which Twinbeard replied with, in an upcoming update coming, I can't say, but fairly soon. So when will the update arrive? There is a good chance it pops up tomorrow or sometime this week. We know this because in the past their updates have popped up on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and even Fridays, yet we have mostly seen updates arrive on Tuesday and Wednesday. I'll keep you all informed about the changes and provide a comparison of the spear before and after the patch. Make sure you are subscribed and turn on those notifications. Also, later on, Twinbeard responded to this user who says, I think we could use less war bonds and more QOL, which is quality of life. Twinbeard responded with, hi, yep, we're aware there's a lot of concern regarding war bond cadence and us possibly overbalancing and or nerfing too much. We're discussing it a lot internally at the moment. So this right here I am most excited about, and once they do give us more information, again, I will provide it to all of you and actually go into detail about this. Continuing on, the community manager Baskinator has recently opened up a poll on Helldivers 2 Discord, and the question was about the latest Polar Patriot war bond. The question asked was, what does everyone think about the Polar Patriot so far? What you can tell is that the options are, it's great, it's okay, but I want more stuff in each war bond. It's okay, but I like fewer war bonds and more patches. It's okay, but the items don't fit the theme for me. And last but not least, I don't like it. And interesting enough, the last option, I don't like it, is the most voted option. And if you check out what it looks like right now, because that first screenshot was about like 2 hours ago, but this is what it is currently. So I believe my review of the latest war bond is accurate, as it's evident that not many players have shown love or interest for the Polar Patriot items. What are your thoughts about it? Let me know what you think. Moving on towards the CEO, he was tagged in a post over on X, formerly known as Twitter, and this user said, "They also need to evaluate the place of certain weapons in the weapons sandbox. ARs, for example, have absolutely no place even if you aren't super meta concerned like me. They hit like a modded BB gun and serve zero purpose." The chief executive of Arrowhead replied with, "Agree on assault rifles. Their representation has become diluted. It's always strange in games where rifles are seen as pea shooters rather than the 2KJ splitters that they are." With this post right here, hopefully they think about buffing some of the current assault rifle options. I'd really like to see a bigger capacity for the tenderizer. Personally, for me, I feel like I am running out of ammo quick when using it. With that being said, I'm sure you all have different opinions and feelings about this. Anyways, what we're going to do now is discuss the latest player count for Helldivers 2 on Steam. And honestly, it's not looking too good because there's a noticeable decline or drop in the player base, and there are a few reasons for this. It might be partially due to some regions being blocked, or the fact that players who have left did so because of the recent nerfs and balancing. Some players might just be burnout, and that's okay when you've essentially played the same maps, same enemies, and have pretty much unlocked everything, or have done everything that you possibly can. It's all understandable. And with all that said, if you take a look at the player base on SteamDB, you can see a decline in concurrent players. Could this decline further? Absolutely, especially if there's nothing new to bring players back. I thought the war bonds would be a great way to draw players back into the game, but with the recent lackluster items, I'd say it's challenging. However, I will say that we should see the player base pick back up again once they do throw in some new missions, vehicles, stratagems, and so on. So now, what I would like to know is, what are you doing? Are you still playing Helldivers 2? Are you taking a break? Or are you waiting for another update to kind of improve the game? Let me know what you think. Okay, last but not least, we're now going to discuss the latest issues in Helldivers 2, and what is it? It's going to be patrol spawns. So I'm not too sure how many of you have experienced this or are annoyed by it, but it's annoying as hell. So what's going on as of right now when it comes down to the patrol spawns? There feels like there's just an endless amount of bug breaches and bot drops, and there's just been a lot of complaints as of late. Even one player here over on Reddit had this to say: "Admit that you screwed up and revert it back to the original. It's just too much. You don't get to explore. You're always running away. If you decide to stay and fight, endless bug breach and bot drops, and you simply don't have enough stratagems or supplies to deal with it sometimes." There's also this bug that players don't join you when you host the game, even though the system has 30k divers, so you're forced to play against full-size patrols alone. Now, speaking of the failed join game lobby bug, this is actually going on quite often, and there's a lot of people that have been reported on this. For example, this user right here says, "I pretty much just can't play the game. Failed to join game lobby." Then he continues on by saying, "Reinstall the game and now it seems to work great, except one problem. The game is basically single player because quick play will just try to connect forever, and if I try to join anyone manually, I get unable to join game or fail to join game lobby every time." And not only have players experienced that bug quite often, but they've also experienced crashing yet again. This user over on Reddit had this to say: "How's the game still crashing so often? Yesterday I played for 30 minutes and my cluster bomb kills around 60 bugs, causing the game to freeze up and crash. Then just now I play another 30 minutes and we can't aboard the ship to fly out as it won't register us as being on it." And these are just some examples of the bugs as of late. If you guys have been experiencing something completely different, let me know down below. What we're going to do now is take a look at the top 3 comments from the previous video. If you'd like to be featured in the next video, comment down below. What we have here at number 1 is Royal November, and this person says, "The player base having to convince a game publisher to sell more copies of its game is the epitome of irony." The second comment is by a username average_gamer1980. This person says, "You'd think Sony would understand having your product in more countries would mean more sales, in return means more money." And last but not least, the third comment here is by username Jins, and this person says, "I find it incomprehensible that access hasn't been restored." With that being said, this is your Helldivers 2 news. If you would like to be featured in the next video, comment down below. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I will see you all in the next video.